You know the hotel with the name Crescent Hotel and Spa, considered the most haunted hotel in America. It was built in 1886 and it's hosted a lot of celebrity, the fluent, even the former president. And in the early 20th century, because the hotel didn't have a lot of visitor tourists, so the revenue so slow, so the hotel transition you know to the just like the college for the young woman. And in the mid 20th century, the hotel fell into despair. The hotel were restored you know in 1990, and the hotel refer as the most haunted hotel in America because many of the visitors saw the ghost bride, yeah, in the hotel. And the hotel became the places for for many uh, a ghost hunter and ghost hunting enthusiast. Yeah, so if you want to visit the hotel, you should book few months in advance, especially some room. Yeah, some room that encounter that the visitor encounter the ghost. Yeah, that's all for the video today. I hope you guys like my video. See you guys next video. Bye bye.
Lay in medicine. With no training whatsoever, he claimed to have discovered a number of cures, only to have their use and application thwarted by the established medical profession. He was convinced that he was the target of a vast conspiracy, and in Eureka Springs he found the perfect venue from which to ply his trade. A previous attempt to run a health resort in Muscatine, Iowa, only resulted in his expulsion from the state. The American Medical Association took issues with Baker's lack of a medical license and his highly questionable cure for cancer. He called for, and so it was that Baker found himself in Eureka Springs. He brought the Crescent Hotel and began advertising his miracle cure for cancer. When the cure failed, a number of his patients suspected that perhaps Baker really was ignorant about medicine. The state filed charges against him, and Baker, convicted of mail fraud, was sentenced to serve 4 years in Leavenworth. Once again, the Crescent Hotel was abandoned. In 1949, people who still remember the charm of the Queen of the Ozarks bought the property, determined to resurrect its moribund spirit and elevate the establishment to a semblance of former prominence. The hotel reopened and began to reclaim its place in Ozark history. Soon enough, however, it became clear that one reason that hotel had such difficulty in the past was that it was undeniably haunted. The Crescent Hotel is said to have a spirit for each of its 4 floors. On the first is the ghost of a middle-aged mustached man dressed in Victorian formal wear. Appearing to guests in the lobby and bar, he vanishes the moment anyone attempts to communicate with him. On the second floor, in room 218, is the apparition of a man who had been with the Crescent Hotel from the day it opened. Appliances such as the television turn themselves on and off, and guests are kept up through the night by loud poundings coming from within the room's thick walls or by the ghost shaking them from slumber. Room 218's ghost is that of a construction worker who fell off the roof during the Crescent Hotel's initial construction. He met his death on the floorboards of what would become Room 218. A number of witnesses in 1987 couldn't believe their eyes when one evening they saw a nurse on the third floor pushing a gurney down the hallway and disappearing into the wall. Guests on the fourth floor must contend with the lingering spirit of a young woman who is believed to have jumped off the upper balcony to her death. Doors open and close on their own, and footsteps can be heard in the hallway. One evening, according to an account given to Lone Star Spirits, a couple was watching television in their room. The husband thought he saw out of the corner of his eye something moving to his left. He assumed the clothes he had sloppily thrown on top of the dresser were falling to the floor. But then his wife grabbed his arm, and he felt a cold chill run through his body. She told him to look in the open closet, and when he did, he understood what had frightened his wife. A pair of her blue jeans draped on a hanger were floating in the air, as if someone was grabbing them by the bottom and holding them tightly horizontal from the hanger. And roaming throughout the hotel is the ghost of the man who guided the Crescent Hotel through some of its most notorious days, Norman Baker. It seems as if the good doctor has returned once more to the scene of his downfall, perhaps still convinced that the hot springs in Eureka are the key to defeating cancer. He lurks in the lobby at the foot of the stairway and has also been known to frequent the recreation room. The Crescent Hotel's haunts have garnered its attention not seen since its days as a retreat in the late 19th century. The establishment was featured on NBC's Unsolved Mysteries and is reportedly one of the most haunted buildings in the state of Arkansas, a fact that the hotel's current owners do not shy away from. While there was initial reluctance to speak openly about the hotel's haunting, that all changed when Marty and Elise Roenig took ownership of the Crescent in May 1996. They both have made an effort to be more ghost-friendly. After all, business come and businesses go, but it seems as if the spirits of the Crescent Hotel are here for the duration.